Hey, hi everyone, welcome to my channel Bhagashri Tech, and today I'm sharing my real production issue I faced as a full stack developer as a first time. That was the issue I faced and how we resolved that issues and all the stuff I will discuss in this video. So get ready for that, and you also will get some input or information, or you will learn something from this video. So the problem is on the API latency issue. That was my first issue. So the problem is there is like in one of our microservices, the API response time suddenly increased from 200 millisecond to 2-3 second during the peak hours. So the problem is causes multiple database joined with the millions of records. Second, I will say N+1 query problem in entity framework because we are using the entity framework approach over there, and lack of caching for the frequently accessed data. So this is the causes because of that problem is coming. So what I did, I added as an has no tracking to read only EF query to reduce the overhead, implemented the Redis cache for hot data, and refactor the query to reduce the joins and use batch switching. So implementing all these things, API latency issue, whatever the time it was taking, so it was resolved because of this thing. So if you are experience like around 2-3 year of experience or more than that, you will learn from this like always measure performance before optimizing. Second, avoid the N+1 query in the ORMs. Third, we have used caching wisely or read heavy APIs. And similarly, if you are using the SQL Server store procedure also, in that also whatever the query you are created, whatever the procedure you are created, you have to be check performance timing, how much time before and after. So on that you have to be check is the proper indexing is applied or not in the where clause or filter, whatever the things or column you are including in the store procedure select statement, you have to be check. This is for the EF query. Similarly, we have to be checking the SQL Server query. Second, I have memory leak. And memory leak, you already know as we are developer. So in our .NET backend, gradually consume the more memory over time. That's why everyone is like we have to be understand. We have to be know how the data structure is working. That's why we have like fundamental right to learn the DSA. The DSA is coming using here in this memory leak. So the problem is that backend gradually consume the more memory over time. So eventually crashing the services after a few days. The causes is because improper the disposal of the DB context object, event subscription not unsubscribed, and large collection held in the static object. So this is the thing which is like very badly implemented over there. How I fix it? Using the block for the DB context, unsubscribe from the event and dispose, and replace the static collection with the memory managed cache. And I added the profiling with the dot memory to monitor memory. And how you learn from this thing, always dispose the unmanaged resources in the C# code, whatever the you are opening the connection or closing the connection or unmanaged resource, please always dispose manually. We have like forcefully, I will say. Second, we have be careful with the static object holding the large data. For the large data, we have dynamic things, we have to utilize that, not the static one. Next, we have used memory profiling tools regularly. So this is the best thing which we have to check for avoiding this thing. But in the .NET 10 in the recent, we can see why still app crashes without memory leak. Enter we are asking, okay, sometime memory leak happening in the application. You will say yes. Yeah, definitely will say yes. Then the problem is like why it is happening. You will mention this is the things it is happening because of this thing like block DB context unmanaged resources and all. But still there is another things. In a .NET 10 latest one, we have fixed this issue, memory leak issue. But still that is problem. Still app crashes, memory leak is solved, but still. So what is the problem over there? This thing, otherwise I am giving here. So the problem is there like container memory limits. Like memory limit we have CARE set, which is max port memory, and it is process the hard limit on the GC heap. That's why first point. And second I will say aggressive RAM allocation and garbage collection pressure build fast. So because of that, the GC behavior, container memory limits. And third I will say the pod eviction versus the ohm. Pod evicted at the heap limit and no leak just exceed quota. So this is the like three things which we have to be understand for the memory leak. So lesson we can see we are learning from this thing. App death is happening because of leak? No, it is not always. Because of this factor also, what I mentioned 3 points: container memory limits, GC behavior, and pod eviction versus own purpose also it is happening. And normally what we answer heard for this memory leak, app issues happening, app crashes is happening because of this memory leak. Okay, so this is the problem. Next we have database deadlock. So in the database deadlock problem is like service were writing to the same table causing the deadlock and failing the transaction. The causes is for that multiple transaction updating the row in the different order. Second, I will say no proper indexing to support the concurrent writes. How I fix it? Implemented the row level locks using the with row lock option. Refactor the transaction using the accessory source in the same order. And I added the retry logic for the transcendent deadlock. So for this learning, I will say we have to be deadlock are often caused by the transaction ordering. Basically, it is happening because of this, and we are learning. Second, I will say the shorter transaction reduces the chance of the deadlock. So this will be plus point. Both will be plus point. So when we handling this thing properly, then this deadlock would be not happen. This is like the first time I was facing, and apart from this there is a multiple big challenges over there and we solve, and that is also I will share in my upcoming video. But this is for the like if you are having a fresher or experience from the 2+ year, you will understand what is happening. So till then, bye, happy learning, happy coding. Please like, share, subscribe this channel. And one question I will ask here in the last: how do you design the safe background services? If you know, please comment it down on this video. How do you design the safe background services?